Hi YouTube, today I wanted to share 5 more money saving tips. I did a video a few days ago. I hope you got a chance to watch it. And if you missed my video, I'm going to link it either above or down below in the description so that you can take a look at that video. So let's just get started. My first tip is to wash your clothes in cold water. It's actually better for your clothes because the cold water keeps your clothes from shrinking, and it also keeps the colors from fading. Now, if you're a mechanic or someone that works construction, then maybe I can understand that you would want to wash those clothes in hot water to make sure you get all the dirt off. But for your average person who's just wearing their clothes to work or out throughout the course of the day, their clothes are not getting dirty enough to warrant that. Now, if you're worried about getting germs and things off your clothes, from everything I've read, and I don't profess to be a laundry expert, but from everything I've read, your machine does not wash your clothes at high of a temperature enough to get all the germs killed. You actually have to have a machine that has a sanitized cycle, and then it would raise the temperature enough to kill the germs. Otherwise, using cold water, hot water, it really doesn't make any difference. For the cleanliness of the clothes, they're still going to get clean. The detergent will still work. I consider this a double win because it will protect your clothes and keep them from shrinking and fading longer, and it will also save you money by not having to heat up the water for the hot water heater to do the laundry. My next tip is about buying designer clothes or designer purses. It is one of those things that is a personal preference, but I have chosen not to necessarily buy those items. I'm not going to say I don't own anything that's a brand name, but I generally try to stick to things. If I feel like it's good quality, that's what I'm looking for. I have a purse that I purchased from Ross probably 3 years ago. It was $12.99, but it's lasted me 3 years, and it's the only purse I use, so it gets a lot of use, and it's lasted 3 years and I've had no problems with it. So yes, you can go out and buy a brand name purse, and yes, it might last a long time. A lot of women especially turn it into more of like a fashion statement, and it's great if you've got the money, but if you don't have the money and you're really trying to cut costs and live a frugal life and get your bills under control or your debt paid off, then it's one of those things that you really don't need to spend money on. You can get by with just a no brand purse or no brand clothes. As a big fan of Dave Ramsey, he always says, don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses because the Joneses are broke. And we don't want to be broke. So it's more important that you get your bills under control than that you look good to the neighbors, to the coworkers, all of that. And I know it's hard because when I was trying to get out of my debt, I really, I wanted to buy some nice things and I wanted to look nice in front of my coworkers, but in the end, it's really what you do for yourself, and the peace that you will get from paying off your debt will be worth more than having a brand name purse. My third tip is something that you will be able to do in about a month or so, which is to start a vegetable garden. I have a very nice sized vegetable garden. I've actually already started a couple of plants in my basement under grow lights. It's one way that you can definitely save money, and you don't have to go about this in a really expensive way. I actually have done a video on starting onion seeds, which is actually what I've started growing just recently. There are cheaper ways of doing gardening. There's tons of videos out there also that walk you through it. I will be doing some videos about how I garden and what I do to save money in my garden. The first tip I'm going to give you about gardening right now is that you can go to the dollar store and they actually have seed packets for $1. So that is a good time right now to go and pick up these seeds before they're sold out. In the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, gardening has really picked up as a hobby, and so sometimes the cheaper seeds at least become harder to buy. So I would suggest that you go out and pick up some seeds and start trying to garden. Now, if you live in an apartment, I understand that obviously it's not possible, but you can certainly possibly have a pot where you're growing herbs. Even herbs at the store are like $2 for a small pack of herbs. So if you can grow herbs, that would also save you some money, and those are also available at the dollar store for 4 packs for $1. So there are ways that you can save money, and gardening would definitely help you save some money and grow your own food. And of course, I don't put any chemicals on anything I grow, so everything I'm growing is organically grown, which is obviously even more expensive if you go and buy that at the store. My next tip is relevant to the time we're living in, which is that interest rates are beginning to go up. And my suggestion is that you look at your mortgage and that you look at if you have a car payment, you look at those things because there are still interest rates that are good. Where I live in my area, there's a credit union, and if you can join the credit union, which I am a member of a credit union, their interest rate is only 1.99, and they do let you refinance your cars. So I would take a look at your mortgage rates and any kind of debt that you have and see if you can refinance it before the rates go up. The Federal Reserve is supposed to meet in March, and they are expecting to raise interest rates. And I don't expect that they'll be coming down anytime soon. So I would suggest you take this time now and really start comparing those rates and see if you can refinance, because there are options to refinance a car. Most people don't think about refinancing a car, but it is possible to do that. So definitely look into refinancing your car and your mortgage if at all possible, and locking in at a lower rate. And if you have a variable rate, then this would be a great time to lock in a fixed rate. My last tip actually pertains to car maintenance. I know this might be like a weird tip, but I had a car that actually drove till 309,000 miles. So I got a lot of years out of that car. And anytime that I had a problem with that car, I would take it back to the dealer. I was very happy with my dealer. I did have another mechanic that I would go to periodically, but I would definitely take it to my dealer. What I normally did is every oil change, so one oil change, I would take it to the local mechanic, and then the next oil change, I would take it to the dealer. Now, the dealer did charge more, but they would do this 27-point inspection for free, and I would always ask for the inspection. Occasionally, I would have things wrong with the car. I'd be hearing a sound, or something would be wrong, and I'd be like, I know there's something wrong with my brakes or this or that. And then they would say, well, we're going to charge you $129 diagnostic, and then we can look at the car. So I quickly learned that was not a great idea. I didn't want to pay them the $129. So what I started doing is I just would say, I want an oil change and I want the 27-point inspection, which the oil change, obviously I paid for. The inspection was free. The benefit of that was the mechanic went through my car really like with a fine-tooth comb. It's in their benefit to find things wrong with your car. They go through all the major systems of the car anyway, and then if they find something wrong, then hopefully you'll use them to fix the item. So they normally would actually come up with the thing that was wrong with my car. So I stopped asking for any diagnosis. I would just let them have the car. I would know something's wrong with the car, but I wouldn't even say anything. I would just say, there is things wrong with the car, but I don't know what's wrong with the car. And I would say, could you do the 27-point inspection? They would do the oil change, the 27-point inspection, and always, every single time, they would come back and say, oh, we found your brakes need changing. Oh, we found your radiators leaking, or whatever things, that they would find. I had a really good relationship with my auto mechanic at the dealership, and I trusted them and had really good experience with them for probably 14 years that I owned that car. So I know a lot of people are not a fan of going to the dealer, but I was actually very happy with the dealer. But that was one way that I saved money, was not paying a diagnosis fee for things that I thought might be wrong. I just quickly learned that was not worthwhile. They would find it anyway, so I don't need to tell them, please find what's wrong with my car and I'll pay you $129 for the privilege of doing it. So I just stopped doing that, and I said, here's the car, please do the oil change, here's do the inspection. And that always worked out for me. And so that's another tip that, you kind of have to look at the situation and say, was that really worth paying $129? It's really in their favor to find the defect in the car anyway. And they always did a thorough job of it. So that's another way that you can save money is, you kind of have to look at the situation and think, how can I handle this differently? Do I need to pay them this? So that was one way that I would save money at the mechanic. I hope some of these tips will be helpful to you and that you enjoyed my video. If you enjoyed my video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, as that helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you.